So today's session is called The Power of Letting Go. And when I listened to this and wrote all the notes for it, it was actually quite influential to me. And it was a lot of things that I'd forgotten that I think I'd done previously when I'd had the learnings. But then because what happens with so many of us, we go back into the hamster wheel, we go back into the rat race, we go back into this thing called life, and we kind of forget about many of the positive habits or traits that we'd started doing that were benefiting us, and we just slip back into old ways and we forget the learnings. And this for me is why daily mindset work is so important. I still do it every single day to reset my mind. I was looking at some research on this, and it's anywhere between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day we have. So we can never for a millisecond imagine that all of those are going to be positive and negative. They're not. And we can't have positive without negative, just like we can't have happy without sad. We can't have fear without courage, and we can't have love without hate, which is why some of the people we love the most in the world drive us around the bend, because there has to be love and hate. It's all on a spectrum, like everything. Like even when people talk to me about, bipolar and autism and ADHD and all the various titles, like we're all somewhere on that spectrum. Some of us are just a lot further up at one end than the other. So these emotions are all normal, and it's how do we channel them? How do we challenge them? How do we understand them in order to move forward? And this is why I called today The Power of Letting Go, because it's going to build into another future training. These trainings are definitely coming now, 4 to 5 sessions per week. So it's exciting times. And it's actually the power of letting go and the not to-do list or non-growth habits, which I'm redelivering. It's crazy to think, like, we're offering a solution to get world-class results. There's a great session on the difference between a problem-based person and a solution-based person as well, and also how to handle this positive and negative thing. But we're actually talking about something we just need to let go of. We're talking about things we need to stop doing. Whenever we're struggling, we very much fall into what do we need to do more of, don't we? And this is where the overwhelm occurs. This is where the stress occurs. And we start reading 3 or 4 personal development books, and then we start stretching, and then we start training, and we start working on the business. And we're like, right, I need to do all of these things. But I've already just said that I'm already stressed and I'm overwhelmed and I'm too busy. So then it creates more stress and more overwhelm, and we're more overstretched. And then we end up binning things off because it gets too much. So what if we could just let go of a lot of things and stop doing a lot of things? And all we're actually doing is removing to simplify the process, not adding anything in. And we're going to be getting world-class results as a result of that. That's got to be the biggest buy-in ever. Like, I'm telling you, you're going to move forward without having to do anything more. In fact, you're going to have to do less, but you're going to have to be strict on these. Some of these are uncomfortable. Some of these will be the single most biggest reason you don't move forward in life and you're afraid. And for me, I'll tell you what that number one is. It's way down on my notes on about page 12. But I believe, myself included, I'm terrible at this, and I'm going to get better at it without turning into a complete arsehole. I think most of us are held back in life because we have a huge fear of being disliked. Drop me a yes if you agree. We don't make decisions about our own future because we're worried about how other people will react. We don't say things. We don't speak up in the meeting at work because we don't want to be disliked. We don't have the awkward conversation. We don't take action towards our own future because we're afraid of other people being disliked or opinions. I.e., I'm not going to book that dream holiday because it's not fair on the kids. I'm not going to say no to going to so-and-so's wedding because it will upset her. I'm not going to speak up in the meeting at work because I'm afraid of how people will react. I'm not going to be honest about my feelings with my partner because I don't want to upset them. And that is the one-way road to a toxic, unhappy life, because you're not living your life. You're living a fake life to avoid discomfort. You're living a fake life to avoid confrontation. Very often, they're not even people who are that important, who will be with you at the end. We've talked about this time and time again, haven't we, about life being a movie, life being a book. You're the leading role and you're the author. You know, most people are the backing actors. They're not even the supporting cast. But we don't do things because we're worried. So I'll come on to that more anyway. But through life, we will always be faced with challenges, obstacles, and adversity. And you've heard me say this so many times that you should remember it by now. And this builds into so much of the training that I'm going to be doing right into, think about it, it's crazy, isn't it? Well, we've got 52 weeks. Around about 200 more training sessions coming in 2022, 2024. And it's all new content I've been working on. So, and it's going to form my book as well. So no matter how brutal the situation, how horrific the abuse, how heartbreaking the situation, and whether you can see it at the time, and we often can't, there is a gift in there if you are willing to look for it. In every horrific relationship breakup, there's a lesson. In every death, there's a lesson. In every single piece of adversity, there is a lesson. Think of, he should be a Sir Peter Sage. We'll call him a Sir. Peter Sage, bankrupted, jailed, came out of jail a multi-millionaire. His biggest adversity became his biggest strength because he was willing to look in the right places. He didn't say, I can't believe it. I've gone to prison. I've lost everything. Lost my wife, lost my penthouse in Canada. I've lost my business. I've lost my freedom. I've lost everything. And let's face it, no one would have blamed him if he had gone into complete victim mentality. But he didn't. He said, why am I being sent to prison? Why am I being sent to Pentonville? And the book that he wrote in prison, that book, The Inside Track, turned out to be a bestseller. So he actually came out of prison a richer man than he went in. Well, obviously, because he went in for nothing, but a richer man than before he went to court. Crazy, right? Crazy story. But it's the best example. But you have to be willing to look for it. You have to drop the story. You have to drop the victim mindset. You have to start saying, oh, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? What can I learn? How can I apply it moving forwards? Again, if you've made that same mistake that many people have, there's some very depressed people walking around right now. Fat, tired, sluggish, depressed. Why? Because they've been drinking and eating crap for 14 consecutive days. Now they feel guilty. They feel sorry for themselves. They feel pathetic. They feel weak. They're playing the victim. That's going to trigger the hell out of you, some of you watching this, because it's you. But you made the decision to do those things. But again, so you've hit a challenge. You've hit an adversity. You've hit an obstacle. You messed everything up at Christmas again for the 25th year on the trot. You still haven't accepted the lesson. How many million times has the world given you the lesson? When you drink this, sniff that, eat that, go to those places, hang around with those people, the outset is you feel like crap, you're riddled with guilt, you get lost in bad behavior, you do things that don't align with your values, and you lose an entire week of your life. That's what I worked out when I was at my worst. Every time I went on a bender, it cost me a full week. And I was going on quite a few benders at the time because my energy was knocked for 7 days. And it's like, I said this to Alice the other day because she smashed her head into a door. I said it as a joke, but I said the only way that some people learn to tie their shoelaces is by smashing their head into the pavement. And that really is true of so many people because they're just not looking at what the lesson is. What did the world teach me? Okay, I did this. This was the outcome. What did I learn? They go, no, I did this. I did the outcome. I'll do it again. I did this. This was the outcome. I felt like that. I'll do it again. I did this. This was the outcome. I'll do it again. So we have to be willing to look for the lesson if you want to, of course. If not, and you want to stay the same and you're enjoying how you feel currently, and that person I'm talking about is you, then okay, that's cool. Doesn't affect me. But if it's affecting you, look for the lesson. So there is always a gift. And when it goes to the next level, right? I can tell I'm passionate about this, can't you? So when you can be grateful for all adversity and all challenge and understand there was always a gift in there, and you're willing to look for it, and you're willing to stop playing the victim, stop telling your story about why you think it's different for you, and you can be grateful in advance. I journal this every day. I'm grateful in advance for all challenge, adversity, and setbacks and disappointments that I will face in 2024. I've already said thank you for them. Why? Because that's how I build my character. That's how I grow. Strong men don't grow through having an easy life. Strong women don't grow through having an easy life. Strong men and women grow through adversity. Who's the strongest woman in this group? Jan. Without a shadow of a fucking doubt. What also is Jan? The person who went through the most adversity in 2023, but went, do you know what? No, world, fuck you. Sorry, language. Bye, cancer, not interested. 700-mile round trip 4 times to come up to Sheffield to see us all, no problem. Jumping in a freezing lake after having cancer, no problem. 4 days in ICU after the operation, no problem. Come on, bring it at me. What more have you got? Because I'm going to learn through this. I'm going to grow through it, and I'm going to get stronger. And she knows how to change a tire on a car, which is more than me. And she has jump leads, which is also more than me. So that was when we become unbreakable. When you're saying, I am grateful in advance, whatever the world hits me with this year, thank you. Thank you for hitting me with that setback. Thank you for hitting me with that obstacle. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the gifts. Now, how can I apply them moving forwards? And remember, it's the tonality, right? Oh, why did this happen to me? Victim, learned helplessness, habit. Why did this happen to me? What can I learn? How can I apply it moving forward? We've done the trainings, right? What, why, lesson, apply. You know, and we have to understand that everything happens for a reason. How many times have you heard your parents say that, or grandparents in my case? Everything happens for a reason. Friends, family, everything happens for a reason. And it's one of those kind of throwaway phrases, right? But everything does happen for a reason if you're willing to look for it. And there's a gift in every reason if you're willing to look for it. And as I've just said with Jan in this example, you know, the world throws its toughest challengers to its toughest soldiers because it knows those soldiers can survive it and grow through it and build their character through it and then help others. What's the biggest thing of going through disaster? Once you've gone through it yourself, you can help other people come through it. What is this whole business built around? That exact situation. I went through this. I felt like that. I learned the lessons. I accepted them. I did the learnings. Now I can help other people. A gift. So even the things that you cannot begin to understand. Let's take Jason's situation as an example. No human can begin to understand that. And I said to him at the time on our very first call, I says, I've done 1,000+ of these calls over the last 10 years. And every single person who I've got on the call with, I've been able to say, at some point, I've been where you are or worse. So please feel free to speak openly because I get it. And I can say that and look them in the eye. First thing I said to him was, I'm not even going to disrespect you by pretending that I understand even 1% of the pain that you're going through right now. But he has found meaning in it. And all of these things will reveal their purpose, if not at the time, later on, like Peter's story. But we have to remember this phrase. And I know you're all sick of hearing me say it. Life happens for me, not to me. Life happens for me is the language of an empowered warrior. Life happens to me is the language of a weak, helpless victim. Which do you want to be? And that all starts with looking for the lesson. You're not powerless, you're in charge. And when you're not in charge of the situation and you're not in charge of the circumstance, but you're in charge of how you choose to respond to it, that's where your fucking power lies. I can't change that this has happened, but I can change how I respond to it. And that is my responsibility. Respond, responsibility. That is where the power is. That is another thing that I journal every morning. When I'm not in charge of the situation, but I'm in control of how I choose to respond to it, that's my power play. That's where it lies. Now, what else do we need to let go of? Sorry, I've gone off on a huge tangent there. The number one thing that will hold you back, it's kind of two things, but I'm going to call it the number one thing before I list out 12 that I wrote down, is not letting go of grudges and holding anger, resentment, and frustration towards other people. Remember, being angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The person that you're angry at or about probably isn't even thinking about you. Too busy living their own life. Moved on. Harsh, but true. You know, I've heard a female friend say this. Think how toxic this is, right? Yes, her partner cheated on her. Not acceptable, low integrity, not good enough, behaviors out of order. But everyone makes mistakes. What was the lesson? What was the gift? What lesson did he get? What lesson did she get? How can they both grow through that situation? She said to me, Lee, as long as I'm alive, I'm never, ever, ever going to let him forget what he's done. He's remarried now with 2 kids. Which person's hurting? It's harsh, isn't it? It's harsh, but it's true. She's still angry. She still hates him. She still struggles to have a conversation without talking about how much he ruined her life. And he's now moved on with his new Australian wife, and they've got this big kid house and 2 kids, and she's angry. But it's only hurting her. It's not hurting him. It's moved on. It will destroy your energy. Shit happens. Deal with it. Move on. Life's life. It will destroy your inner peace. It will destroy your happiness. Holding on to a grudge, holding on to anger, and this could be the smallest little things. I know blokes that hold grudges against blokes who didn't buy their round. Well, he never gets his round in him, does he? He didn't get his round in at football 17 weeks ago. Do you remember fucking Barnsley away in 1998 when Jono didn't get his round in? Out of all of that, 10 years on. But you'll have this within family members. People holding grudges 10 years on, 10, 15, 20 years on. Everything from little grudges to huge grudges. Like grudges start wars. They never end well. Pain, anger, resentment, frustration, all caused from grudges. So that's the number one thing. Any grudge you're holding against any person that's done anything to you in the past, present, or future, let it go. It's not in your control. Now, it's the big one. And you will probably have said that as well. I'm never going to let them forget that. It's only hurting you. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. They won't. You will. It will destroy you. So this is the biggest one for me. Addiction to Monster. No, that's not it. Judging others. Hands up. virtually, if you're a judgmental fucker at times, sorry guys, I'm really not winning the swearing game today. I'm so bad at this. And the phrase that I wrote down when I journaled was, I actually said this about somebody else. He made his mind up about me the second I got out of my car. And I still believe that to be true. It was many years ago. It was a coach at a gym. See, he didn't like me from the second he set eyes on me. So one, I'm making a judgment, but he had also made a firm judgment of me that I didn't like. Why did it trigger me? Because I'm judgmental sometimes. Whenever someone triggers you, always remember this. It's only because you see something that's in yourself that you haven't accepted yet, or you're not ready to accept, or you're not willing to accept, or it used to be in you and you've dealt with it, but it's brought that feeling back up. That's the only reason it will trigger you. We all judge. We all judge people. We very often, hands up if you've judged someone, like he said, like he judged me. I knew he did. Took one look at me, took one look at my car, took one look at my physique, took one look at the way I was dressed, probably. I thought, I don't like him. Without knowing anything about me. Hands up if you've done that. I have. Hands up if you do that when you see a new person walking to the gym. I have. And we need to work on it as a team. Everyone needs to work on that. I need to work on this because we only really ever judge people negatively. And when we go into judgment mode, you are literally stopping the learning cycle. That's why it's so toxic. This is what I journal, because we only learn from other people, right? We only learn from situations. We only learn from understanding life happens to us, not for us. But instead of saying like, what's this person been sent to teach me? Like we just make a judgment on them. And very often it's on limited to no. It's very hard not to do this. We make it on limited to no evidence, limited to no evidence. And that person probably has a story that they know, that we know nothing about. The way they're behaving that you made a judgment on could be related to childhood trauma, the same trauma that you suffered 30, 40 years ago. We know nothing about 90% of the people that we judge. And it's hard to stop doing this. Because what happens when we're judging people? It's back to this cycle: judgment, anger, resentment, frustration, negative energy. It will destroy your inner peace. It will destroy your happiness. And the happiest people that I know, without a shadow of a doubt, are the ones that are the least judgmental. They're the ones that don't judge anyone. They're the ones that are annoyingly happy. Why does nothing ever get to her? Why is she always smiling? Because she doesn't judge people. You know, those people you just look at them and think, how are they so happy all the time? They walk into the gym, they smile at everyone, they say hello. And it's that person that, oh my God, everybody just loves. Levi's a great example. Everybody loves Levi. Why? Because he doesn't judge people. He's just happy, smiling. G-Man, happy, smiling all the time. And none of us are all the time. But, you know, publicly, when we're not judging, when we're busy on our mission, this is when people then want to get around you. And then you don't have to worry about negative, toxic people because all the happy people want to get around you because you're happy and non-judgmental. Can you think of a better person to be around than someone that's happy, smiles all the time, says hello, makes you laugh, and isn't judgmental? Of course not. It's the dream human. It's the dream friend. And the more time you spend around them, you start to feed off of them and you become like them. And you're like, this is what I've realized. The happiest people in the world don't really judge other people. They're too focused on their own journey of self-improvement. They'll actually subconsciously be thinking, how can I help this person? Why are they behaving like that? What are their struggles? Maybe I should ask them. Maybe I should see if I can help them. Maybe I should go and ask them if they're all right rather than judging them. Like, I literally want to, like, this is a Lee Anger moment, isn't it? I have to breathe at the minute because I know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to see all my gym buddies who've been at gyms for years slagging off all the New Year's resolutioners, calling them fucking tourists, getting annoyed because the gym's busy. And it's like, do you know what? A lot of those people, it would have taken every bit of strength in their body to walk inside that gym. And I respect them for having the balls to try and do something better to improve their life. Just like when everybody comes into this group. We're all as one, we're all the same, we're all humans. They've got just as much right to be in the gym as we have. And granted, they might just give up after 2 weeks, but if they do, let them be. But, you know, why not make them feel comfortable? Why not say hello? Why not smile? Why judge them in a positive way with respect for having the balls to go and have a go? You know what I mean? Can you see how the opposite sides are so different? You know, and when you can do that, what you will be learning from it will be that you will be constantly improving. You will be on that journey of self-improvement. Because I don't judge my neighbour, I help my neighbour. I don't pull my neighbour down, I empower my neighbour. I'm a positive, happy, driven person with honesty and integrity who understands that the more I give, the more I get. And that the universe is a perfect reflection of the hard work that I do and the energy that I give out. So if I'm giving out negative, toxic, judgy energy, I'm going to get that back. And it's so true, this. So many people focus on what they want to get. The only way you will get what you want is by helping other people get what they want. Help enough people get what they want, and the world will give you what you want. This is the oldest personal development line, right back from, I haven't got any books anymore because I sold them all to Jan, right back into Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill, which I think has done 15 million copies now. It's the original one that basically every book written ever since, in some way, shape, or form, is a rip-off of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And the biggest thing he says is when it's the goal outlining section. I'm going off on a tangent here. I will get to the 12 points. But he says, by December 2024, I want to have earned £1 million. In return for this money, I am willing to. And then you have to list everything that you're willing to give, the services that you're willing to provide, the effort you're willing to put in. And this is where he says, it's not just about wanting the thing, it's how do I get the thing? Well, I get the thing by becoming a person of value. So I need to not focus on making money. I need to be focused on becoming a person of value. And how do I become a person of value? Well, I become a person of value by helping other people solve their problems. So that's where my focus needs to be. Problem solver, solution based, which we'll come on to, which is going to be Friday's training, which is going to be on the difference between a problem based person and a solution based person. So 12 things I wrote down that we need to let go of. People who don't add or bring any value to your life. Mood hoovers, oxygen thieves. There are people in this world who will just take. You'll know the friends. They never ask you how you are. They never ask you about your family, your life, your business. Every time you speak to them, they just tell you about everything that's bad in their life. What's gone wrong at work. Oh, my mum's living with us again. My dad this, my father this, my brother this. Oh, so-and-so. Oh, have you heard about so-and-so? You know, they don't add any value to your life. So if a person isn't bringing any value, they're not bringing any positivity, I would let them go. Number 2, not asking for help. Massive in this group. Struggling and not asking for help, for me, is the height of stupidity. But again, why are you probably not asking for help? That other trait that we're going to come on to, fear. Fear of being disliked, fear of looking stupid. Remember, the only daft question is the one you don't ask. That's why in this group there's a pinned Q&A. It's not up there, but it's up there in the group. Post a question on there any time of any day. Number 3, being a people pleaser. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. If you want to say no, say no. If you disagree with something, disagree with it. Let go of being a people pleaser. Number 4, as I discussed, I'm doing a full training on this. It's my biggest struggle. We need to let go of a need to be liked. That's not saying be a dick, but be okay with who you are, what you want, how you behave, your values, the standards that you stick by, the actions that you take, and the things that you say, and let go of a need to be liked. Now, in business, I'm quite good at that. With love and respect, I don't give a toss if any of you agree with anything in this video or whether you have any form of opinion about me because of this training, because it's what I believe in and I'm okay with that. So I'm completely okay on a business level with not being liked. When it comes to personal life, ooh, very different. Very, very different beast for me. So I'm working on it. Number 5, holding on to the past or worrying about the future. That's exactly what anxiety is. It's predicting a negative outcome of the future, very often based on no evidence, or it's holding on to a bad memory of the past. So let go of the past and let go of worrying about the future and focus on the present. Number 6, anything that makes you angry, just let go of it. Number 7, thinking you're not good enough, thinking you're not smart enough. Number 8, big one, thinking it's not the right time. It will never be the right time, and the right time is always now. Number 9, comparing yourself to others. Number 10, judging other people. Number 11, negative self-talk. And the 12th one, which if you've watched all 4 videos in a series, should make perfect sense, your story. You cannot change where you are right now. You cannot change the past all the way back to the beginning. All of that is done. You cannot change it. But what you can do is draw a line in the sand now, understand that life happens for you, not to you, let go of those 12 things and write an absolutely epic ending to your story. I love you all. Have an amazing day.